Alright folks, how are we? I'm Shipwreck Sean, and this is episode 4 of Sail the Seas. We're looking at a couple of beautiful ships here. I believe they're both barks. I think it was Coupling Rhino mentioned that they are Indiaman because they've got the squares on all three, but I'm pretty sure with the four in it, well actually I'm pretty sure the rig is a bark and the Indiaman was like a type of boat back in the old days. But Rhino, do chastise me if I'm getting that one incorrect. In the background, I have come over to our interactive map and I have replaced all of our points. At some point, either in this episode or off camera, I will connect the dots so that we can remember the journey we've made. But so far, we spent day 1 rounding the east of the UK, day 2 rounding the northern parts of the UK and Ireland, heading into the Atlantic, probably far too deep into the Atlantic. Day 3, we decided not to go any further west, and we headed south down to Ponta Delgada. And then day 4 began sort of halfway through that sail on the way down to Barbados, where we find ourselves at now, meaning we are missing one cross here. We picked up some tobacco at Barbados, and we have to complete that mission to San Juan. But my good friend Ed Cox has given me a very, very solid game plan, which I will get into once we are sailing. But first of all, I think we need to haul up this anchor. We are in a deficit financially, negative 21. So it looks like you can go into the minus. I'm not too sure by how much, but we don't want to mess around with that too much. I'd like to find out exactly where west is. Oh my god, there's far too many sailing games now. I've no idea how Was it 3? Okay, 3. West is in between these two vessels. So if we can get ourselves heading roughly west, I'll be quite happy. So let's get the jib out. I've been playing a lot of Following Seas, which is all completely different controls. And it's a little bit easier to turn in Following Seas actually, so I shouldn't take that for granted. I should remember that Sail the Seas is a far less forgiving game. The boats it just feels so much heavier in this game. Where is the wind? Right, we need to zoom with there. The wind is completely behind us, so we need to let out the sheets. Just trying to reteach myself how to sail here. Like with most episodes. How spoiled am I? That's 3 very decent sailing games now to play with. And I'm sure more to come. But I think I can only handle about 3. F. And we're going to let you out. Right, and we should be turning easy peasy now. We're bringing a lot of water on board. So I don't suspect the weight is going to be helping us turn either. I'm going to turn my desktop down because that was very loud in my ears. The audio issues should be dealt with by now. If anything, maybe the game might be a bit on the quiet side, but I would prefer that than the storm's absolutely killing your ears. Okay, what have I done? How to Sail by Shipwreck Sean. Don't do what I'm doing. With the wind behind us, yep, the jib has now floated off to the other side. We've already let out on that end. Let's let her out here, and that should cover it. Keep this rudder hard to port. And there we go. 4 for compass, and that's us heading west. But I don't really want to hit the bow of this ship. So we'll just delicately navigate ourselves forward. And we're going to get the mainsail out now. And we're just going to completely let the sheet out. Ooh! Our yard's got a little bit close there for comfort, but that's okay. He's more scared of me than I am of him. Cat's come to say hello. Good timing, Bonnie. And how are we looking there? That's enough to get us going. We're running it pretty close to both these vessels. I'm just making sure the watchmen are awake and doing their job. And we'll get ourselves turned to west. Get ourselves balanced, and then we'll check out that map to work out exactly where we need to go to get to San Juan. And I'll fill you in on the Ed Cox plan. Right, how we looking there? It's okay, actually. I think we might have a very slow turn to port. But I think that's all right now for just heading in and checking out our game plan. Remembering to close the doors. Map. Okay, so west from Barbados. I think we can see this island ahead, so it's going to take us round that way. And then from that point, our options are either to just head in a straight line up to San Juan. Is that Hispaniola, that island? Or playing around by going up and around all of the Caribbean islands just for a bit of fun. That probably sounds more fun to me. It's worth noting that whilst I was updating the map, it did pass into the next day. So just as a reminder, I know we're not here, but I'm just going to put like a random red cross there, just so that I don't forget that we are in another day, because that is important. Game plan. Right, okay. I have this written down. So because we purchased tobacco from Barbados, eventually we want to make our way up to Quebec, where apparently we can sell tobacco for a pretty high profit, 147 gold. And if we can get any candles on the way, that would also sell quite well at Quebec. And from here, we're going to take salt. We're then going to take the salt over to St. John's, where we'll sell that for a decent profit, and we will take as many barrels of whale oil as we can get. And then we're going to take our whale oil down to Charleston. Not forgetting that before we go to Quebec, we already have a mission to Charleston that I picked up in London. So the reason I'm saying not forgetting is because I just remembered that. But then we'll sell the whale oil to Charleston. And then Ed's saying to head to Baltimore, just north of it, to take beer. And then beer to Grenada. Grenada's, I think we're quite close to Grenada. Yeah, Grenada here. And that'll complete our North American and Caribbean stint of the circumnavigation. And from that point, we can start to consider heading southwards, hitting these roaring 40s, 50s and 60s, thanks to Coupland Rhino for letting me know about that, and then just booking it east. But we've got an initial plan for now, and we'll stick to it. So let's go and make sure we're still headed west. We have turned south, so we are not balanced. So we're going to deal with that. It looks like we've got a bit of a beam reach, so I can sort that quite easily by bringing out the staysail. Just letting her delicately turn, like so. And there we go. It's staysail time. There she cometh. And let's let her out. Perhaps a bit tight. Let's let her out a wee bit more. And the wind is still relatively behind us. We are heeling a touch. I need to not forget to close the doors, because that's how we let water in. Cool, once I've been doing that, slight turn to southwest, so we'll correct that to west, and then we'll see if she holds. Quite a bit of healing, but we don't mind that, as long as we're keeping an eye on our pump here. Oh, maybe that's probably the most I've ever seen the water clip through the boat on this game before. She seems balanced enough. That's that tiny nameless island that we're looking at on the map, which means the island above it, what would that be? So we're looking at this island, this is the island above it, and Martinique is somewhere about there. Since I've got this cross here, I think we'll just head to the southern point of that tiny wee island before turning northwards. I've locked myself in. But I think we've got a decent enough plan now. Still turning to port, which would tell me too much wind in the main. Just letting her oversteer a wee touch, so I've got some wiggle room to make corrections. Right, okay, so I think we take out the outer jib. I don't like reefing. Let's get the outer jib out. It still feels like she's turning to port. I don't think the jibs are very optimised either. Why is that not? Okay. Go and check our compass down here. Still pointing west. I think we can pull it just a wee bit tighter and head towards that southern point of the island, as I say. It looks like the rain is coming, which means we'll get a nice... That storm reminds me, I'm going to take the master volume down a touch whilst we've got thunder. I think the game should already be fairly quiet. But, I mean, that's a chilling roar in my headphones. I mean, that's some dramatic weather noises for what is otherwise a lovely Caribbean view. We are quite tired and quite thirsty. So I'm going to just see if I can sleep off rounding this little island here, like so. That's done nothing for our tiredness levels. But now we've pretty much reached that red cross that I found. So from here, San Juan is roughly northwest. Can we turn northwest? I think we can. Yeah, we're going to get away with northwest. So it's going for the boring straight line option, folks. However, my little worries with balancing the vessel there has got me... It's made me decide that easiest is better. We now have the wind completely behind us. Is it worth trying to get these... Actually, if I turn... maybe ever so slightly to port, I think we might get these jibs to do something just a wee bit nicer. I mean, the wind is just dead behind us. Let's try going to sleep. I think we're all right there. Not forgetting bilge duty, of course. And let's just watch what happens. I think we're going to be at San Juan quite quickly. But she's holding balance pretty well. Making use of the storm. I wouldn't usually like to sleep this early in an episode, but we're very tired. And we have to consider our poor little character here. We have a change of wind direction to more of a beam reach, but I think I'm okay with that. We've lost sight of all land. So with that being said, I'm going to make a wee reading. Believe we must be somewhere around here. West 71. Right, let's press draw. Go red. For real? Really? How did, how did that happen? Okay, so we've gone west 71.8. So we're here. And then 14.59. So we have completely and utterly drifted. So now we need to turn east, sort of northeast. And are we going to get away with that? Let me check this compass. Yeah, okay, that's because we've just completely turned west. Okay, turning east. And we will get away with east. But we should keep it more east-northeast or northeast, around thereabouts. Right, how are the sails looking now? Like fine to me, it looks like we can let out our staysail. The weather has completely calmed down, which is groovy. Our jib can come in a touch, and our outer jib can go out a touch. And everything is calmer now. Heading northeast. So that's the danger of sleeping. Well, I'm blaming sleeping. That's the danger of me getting too complacent. But we upload the mistakes, don't we? I think I'm way beyond convincing you guys that I'm perfect. Let's connect the dots here, though. Because I very much like to see our progress. This isn't going to be perfect. I basically just had to follow along my older videos and try to get this as close as possible. So it's certainly not going to be the correct coordinates or anything. I mean, not that I'm using the correct coordinates as is. It's a bit too fiddly for doing that. That's quite a lot of sailing for this one day, isn't it? Okay, we'll go red. And whilst I'm doing this, I am convinced that the ship has turned south or something. But we will deal with that. It's not like a sea voyage. We've got plenty of islands around to play with. So we are good. Barbados, and then here. And then we went on a grand old Caribbean excursion. Is there a name for this piece of sea, or is it still considered the Atlantic? Or does it have a... I'm not seeing anything on this map, but does it have like a term? Like we have the Gulf of Mexico. Potentially a controversial name these days, but I wouldn't think so. I'm a historian, not a politician. We're now heading northeast, which might be too much, but then so is east-northeast, so as long as we're heading in a general direction and find land, we should be okay. We're heading more north than northeast though, so let's correct that. I'd rather be heading south of northeast if I'm doing anything. Something along those lines. I would like to get the top sail out, but maybe not. Maybe that's being too greedy. Off to sleep. And I'm presuming we're going to see land soon. The wind state is fairly low. That was some land appearing, you can see just to the top left of the screen, to our port. And we've got land appearing all around us now, which is groovy. We've almost completely slept. So on that note, we have turned northeast, but I think that's okay. Let's check where we are. I feel like if we're heading northeast, Surely we must be pretty close. We're still on June the 11th. West 68, that's a lot healthier. West 68, 48, North 17, 34. Roughly there. So now it's east. Smashing. This is going way better than the start of the episode. I presume that is where we want to go. And it looks like we're going to be sailing at a close reach to turn east. So I should pull in that main. Let's adjust the rig before we do any of that. Let's pull in the main. Because we're not going to be moving very quickly at all in my current setup. And I think we can pull in all of the staysails. The head sails rather. Now it has been pointed out that I probably sail these a little bit tight. Just the one pump, we're good. Okay, chip log. Let's just double check we are moving forward. We are moving forward, not by very much, but if you look at the top right of the screen on the toolbar, the sea state is pretty weak. So I think it's just a matter of pottering. No longer at that close reach, but does that mean we have, yes, we have turned back to northeast. So I think we can get away with going a bit closer to east, and that looks like Hispaniola's just popped up to our starboard. But we don't want to close haul too much. This is not following seas or sailwind, which I've been playing a wee bit more of in this game. Which is not to say I prefer them. I love the historical feel of this game. I love how we can sail around the real world. But obviously with Following Seas being brand new, I've got an initial excitement about that one. And Sailwind was where it all began. So Sail the Seas is the middle child. The poor middle child that has to compete with the cute young kid and the slightly less successful but original older kid. We have almost killed our speed, but I think that's enough. You can see land moving past, so we are moving forward. We might have to kind of go past Hispaniola and then tack ourselves to San Juan. Unless the wind state changes, which it looks like it has. It looks like we can probably close haul now. Somewhere along there. Did I buy candles? I did. Nice. Let's get the lights on. We're spoiled now, folks, aren't we? And we need to remember, if we can find candles to purchase, we certainly will. I think the outer jib can come in now, which is actually over here. Get that stowed away. And then it's just a wee nighttime potter to San Juan. It's changed to June 12th, so I'm going to make a plot again. 6814. So really not far at all. And then 18. There we go. We're now June 12th, heading eastward. If we can keep her in a straight line, we'll be at San Juan in no time. And I hope I'm pronouncing that. I'm just saying that with complete loud confidence. San Juan. It wouldn't be anything else, would it? Actually, we're going to be economical with our lanterns. Head to sleep and perhaps wake up at... Whoa, 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 whoa. We were... the wind state just completely picked up there. I actually don't think we need this now because the nighttime sky is far too beautiful. And usually with each episode, it's me going from one port to the other, but I think this episode's going to be about 20 minutes if I did that. So we'll head to San Juan and we'll find out if there's anywhere we want to go in between San Juan and Charleston. And if not, it's just straight to Charleston. And of course, it looks like the wind's changing, so we want to try and get as much to port as possible without running the risk of beaching ourselves. It's always hard to see this brass cap there. I'm not seeing any sort of port unless there's a port in this little bay here. No, it doesn't look like it. Let's check our marker. We won't actually make one, but okay, so we're 66.58. So still a wee bit. I think that there is probably... That was probably the little bay I was looking at. So not long at all. Just patience. How's the wind? Yep, so I'm going to go back to port. Like so, and just keep ourselves heading east. I think I can probably turn the volume up a wee touch now that the thunder has passed. And we're just keeping our eyes peeled for port. Which I am not immediately seeing. But I suspect it's just round this bit of Land's End over there. Hauling to port. Perhaps a bit too much there. We are healing. I can't remember which video in which game, but I kept saying listing. We're not listing, we're healing. Unfortunately, I didn't take note of who corrected me on that one. I will find out if I have to make a quick pause or edit, but thank you. The comment was something along the lines of, Sean, you absolute landlubber, you're listing, not healing. And yes, there is no rebuttal to that one, I'm afraid. Is that... Okay, though it's just trees. I thought perhaps we might be close. Close to spotting. But yes, we are healing right now. And healing quite nicely, I would say. Let's see. I think that is the slight downside of the sort of time warp in this game, is that you can get away with not being completely balanced. Although the start of the episode, heading completely west, is probably a testament to how that can go in both directions. Get the water out. Speaking of water, we're thirsty as well. It's going to have a half ration. We've got plenty of food and water as well. Especially with all of these ports in our vicinity. So, it feels like we're turning too much to starboard. Oh, the wind direction has just changed. So, but if we're turning to starboard, that would tell me there's too much wind hitting the main. Oh, I hope we've not come to a dead stop. Usually when you're going this slow, you really don't want to turn the rudder to such an extreme direction, because that might kill off any momentum we had left. So let's let the mainsail sheet out just a touch, just to discourage a little bit of wind. And I'm okay with the jibs, maybe just out a little touch. And I'm going to do the same with the main, because I don't want to negate the potential balance fix I've just made. And we're just trying to spot land. I suspect it's going to be round this corner. Although, as I say, sometimes when playing this game, I've reached land and the town's just not there. It's happened a couple of times. But usually a quick reload deals with that. And let's go and have a look. So we are 66.9 and 1751. So according to this, the town should be at our immediate port. Which it is quite clearly not. So we will round the island, because it could just be that the town isn't quite where it says it is on the map. We'll head round and see if it's there, and if not, I will reload back into the game. As I say, there's been times where I haven't been able to find the town and it's just been like plotted somewhere in the sky. It could even be that the town's loaded underwater. Right, let's see here. We're going to time warp. And now with that view, it's looking like the town hasn't loaded for us. So we get to share this bug together, if it is indeed a bug. I can't bloody see anything. Too much bobbing. Where's the crow's nest in this game, eh, folks? Nope, okay, right. I'm going to make just a quick little edit to save the game and reload and see if that does anything. And if not, I'm at a bit of a loss. So, see you in a second, folks. Okay, folks, so I'm looking at the island of Puerto Rico at the moment, and San Juan is on the northeastern part of the island. So that would explain why we can't find it around here. So, yeah, okay. So maybe in the future, a lesson I need to keep teaching myself is don't blame game bugs when it could be your own knowledge of geography. So at least we know, or at least we know to try heading round the eastern and northern part of the island, and hopefully we will find San Juan there. Okay, folks, so off camera, I have just, obviously by closing the game and reloading, the wind completely changed. So the wind is now behind us. And that seems to be the best in terms of balance that I can get for now. And then when we start to turn to port, it'll get closer and closer to a beam reach. I must admit, I think I do have some trouble balancing when I'm sailing downwind. You know, close hauls and close reaches and beam reaches I am absolutely fine with, but broad and running with the wind are all things I seem to struggle with in terms of balance, especially with this sail configuration. So if you're noticing any bad habits, do let me know. I am desperately requesting help in the comments this time. And that's not even a like and subscribe moment. Right, is it worth... I mean, I've locked the helm, which I think is a good thing to do if you're slightly off balance. But the problem is that when you... Oh, a little bit of space program there. The problem is when you... I totally lost my thought there because I thought the boat was going to sink. Yeah, when you time warp, the helm lock comes loose. So if I go to the open view here and start time warping, you'll see the helm is recentered again. So, you know, it's good if you're just playing the game on your own. But in terms of it being a YouTube channel, I don't really think you fancy like a 24-hour long video where I'm sailing in a certain direction. But for now, that's good. I'm wondering if this is one of those situations where the outer jib would help, because we do have a slight turn to starboard at the moment, which would tell me there's too much wind hitting the main. I'm told it's not really... One of my first thoughts would be to reef a little bit, but I'm told that's not a great idea. And then the other thought would be to pull in the sheet a little bit as well. But I also don't really feel great about doing that, but I'm sure one of them is the answer. But anyway, before I get completely distracted, we have a game plan, and that's trying to find San Juan. And we see, oh, there's a vessel. I could only see that from the third person view, but I definitely saw a vessel there. Also, June 12th, it looks like we've changed days as well, so I'll need to sort that. It's probably at some point during the... Oh, I wonder what we've got. Okay, folks, this is usually where I put myself on the line here. We're actually healing quite nicely for me to... Oh, let's not end up in the water. I've made that mistake before, folks, where I've gotten halfway through an episode and didn't say it fell in the water. And in this game, there doesn't appear to be like a... You can't hold a button to go to the previous port or whatever. The boat just goes on without you. Oh, we're hitting some speeds now. Actually, we're beam reaching, so I'm going to pull that mainsail in a touch. Right, what can we see? It's hard to make out from looking straight up the aft deck. Oh, look, there's San Juan, and there's a second vessel. So we've got plenty opportunity for me to out myself as not having as much sailing knowledge as I try to pretend to have. I think that ship has sailed, if you can excuse the pun. But I'm not caring too much about balancing right now because we're close enough to port that it doesn't really matter. We are turning to port though, so I'm just going to see if I can hold her straight, lock the helm like that, and have her heeling, not listing, heeling. Oh, by the way, during my little pause, I did check. That was Obi-Wan. So thank you very much, Obi-Wan, for correcting me on that one. It is much appreciated. Yes, I'm a landlubber. I know. Right, we're actually flying past this. Where are you? Actually, we don't need that anymore. So the mizzen... Well, sorry, the mast furthest aft is taller than the one in front. Therefore, the main is this one. And this is the foremast. Ship's jumping again. Therefore, I'm going to guess it's a schooner. But, I mean, it looks like we've got two squares and a fore and aft. I can't remember if schooners have particular squares. I just know that the schooner's the one with the larger aft mast. I keep wanting to say the larger mizzen. It's not a mizzen, that is the main. But yeah, my bet is on schooner. I can already hear you all aggressively typing how I'm probably wrong. But we've got a couple of fighting tops. As I say, aft mast taller, bowsprit, got a little bow square on the go. And we've got a Union flag as well. They're all Union flag in this game. Lovely hull colour as well. So yep, I'm going schooner. That's my best bet. And we've got another boat out here that I'm probably going to guess incorrectly. Two masts. Is that just a mini schooner? Because that looks the same. That looks like where the mizzen or the aft mast is taller than the forward mast. So I might have to do some Googling off camera. Unless if they're both schooners and one schooner is just bigger than the other. Or schooner rigged. But I'll check and see if there's any other vessels where the that's the same mass configuration. But we are approaching San Juan fairly quickly now. When I get there, I will make a very, very quick edit because I am about to drown my pants. And we don't want that. That's the last thing. Not after getting the geography of Puerto Rico wrong. I'm already on thin ice with you folks at this stage, I'm aware. We should actually start bringing in sails as well. Let's bring in the staysail, which is obviously going to make our turn to port a wee bit more aggressive, but that's okay because we're going to very quickly bring in the mainsail. And then we're going to haul in the sheet of the jib. So it's way tighter. Like so. We don't want the clew of the sail to be passing the centre line, which we've actually still got a wee bit we can pull in. I think that's probably as tight as I want to go. And then it's just a matter of very slowly sailing our way to San Juan. I might even get a bit of mainsail out as well. But I'm going to pull the sheet in first of all. And start pointing us a wee bit closer to San Juan. We've completely dropped in speed, but that's to be expected when we've got a big hefty gal and not much canvas to play around with. Let's go ahead and just bring out a little bit of mainsail, just for forward momentum. And just for you coupling rhino, I'm not going to go too tight. We're going to let that out a wee touch. And here we are. That should be a plenty. And I need to work out how I'm going to do this. I think I'll just get as close as possible. Can we... Yeah, I'm actually going to pull into port now. Get close and then at the end, turn to starboard. We're probably going to get dead in the water actually. I think that's probably as close as we can get. It might even be a kedging job from here. We'll see. But I think we've got just enough forward momentum. But yeah, I'm going to bring the main in completely now. I'm going to stow our jib. And we're going to just kedge. Oh. To there. And start pulling ourselves along. And it might even be, I mean, we're close enough to the ladders that I might just swim in. It feels like cheating. I would like to double check. I think that's just the same boat as over there. I think they're actually the same size. But we'll get a closer look when we are on land. Right, and then... Oh, I've just dropped the main anchor. Okay, so swimming from here. See, this is why I don't like swimming in this game. It's just a little bit on the scary side. San Juan looking very colourful. Reminds me of Tobermory from a famous Scottish kids TV show. Did I leave? Oh my, okay. I thought I'd stowed the mainsail, but apparently I've just brought it completely out. That shouldn't be a problem. That should be fine. Oh, there's Mr. Statham. How's it going, Jason? Trade. And we have completed our contract. Okay. Oh, and they sell tobacco here. Yep, we're just going to go ahead and take some more of that. We can only get 2. But that's okay, because we'll sell it for, I think it was about 1,000 in Quebec. Any contracts? Oh. Okay, let's look at them all. Well, that's not... I think that's a bit too far away. Portobello. It's a wee bit out the way, considering we've just come from North South America. New York, I think, is looking very tempting because we're going to Charleston next, and then we will scoot up to New York from there. So I can see that being a pretty good... Yeah, there's nothing else. Martinique is close, but that's going back the way, and we don't like to do that. Where's Calicut? Oh, it's Calcutta, I think. I'm not sure. Where's Calcutta again? Is that where Calcutta is? That looks like Goa, where Goa is. I'm really outing myself with my geography knowledge in this episode, or lack thereof. But let's go ahead and take the New York mission. And let's run along and see if we can work out what this vessel is. And in actual fact, I'm going to make that quick edit now, so that my pantaloons remain dry. Alright folks, so you'll be glad to hear that I avoided any drama there. We're all safe and relatively dry. But I'm still trying to work out the difference between the two vessels that we were looking at. Obviously the other one is still way off in the distance. You can see it just there, which I suspected was a schooner. But then I'm looking over here, and this is without a doubt a schooner. So I'm really not entirely sure what the other one is. My next best guess would be perhaps a brig. But I'm not so great with brigs. I don't know if a brig is like a type of hull or sails. But I've seen brigs with, I think both really. With either mast taller than the other, I'm not sure. But for this one, we're definitely going with schooner. 20,000 for the schooner. Now, I believe the schooner is what we want to purchase next, so I'm just getting a wee peek on board, really. Since we've got time, got way more sails to play with. I've been having a lot of trouble, as I say, sailing downwind with gaff sails, but this seems like the way to go. That's like a tiny little... Would I need to get on my... Would I need to crouch to get into the cabin? But I'm liking the look of this. On board it feels the exact same as the sloop over there. Maybe just slightly bigger. But yeah, I believe this is the ship we're going for next. We've got some nice shrouds to play with as well. I don't think you can climb them though, unfortunately. No, it would appear not. So we want to get ourselves to about 20,000, and then we'll come to this version of Jason Statham and purchase from him. But we just need to hope that we find it in our travels. So I'm going to edit myself back on board the sloop, and we will start making our way up to... Well, I think we're going to Charleston now. Okie dokie, so we are back on board. How's the wind looking? Okay, it's directly into us, so I'm going to let the topsail out. And I'm going to start hauling up the anchor. And we should just start heading astern. And then I'll get us turned round heading... I'll need to check the map. I believe it's about northwest. Lock that off. Let her do her thing. I do need to update all this, but we'll do that in a second. What was our trick? We want to bring that down to San Juan, which is north. We want to grab a black line, draw from Charleston down, and it's actually pretty much bang on northwest, maybe just a touch north of northwest. So even if we go a bit south from there, we should see some islands in the Bahamas, which will be a bit of fun. But let's not stick on this map for too long. Actually, she's turning very slowly. Let's get a jib out now to encourage that. And that should speed up our turn a wee bit. Is it worth maybe doing my little trick where I pull the jib in just a wee bit? Because in that way, yeah, it looks like it would be the right thing to do. I think we can get rid of the topsail now, because I don't really care too much about heading backwards or astern. I'm more concerned about turning. We might actually be heading forward now with the jib out. So I'm going to go hard to starboard. Yep, she's turning. I'm going to lock that and I'm going to go and sort this jib. Because we don't like the clue, as I say, to be over the centre line. Although it doesn't really matter too much whilst we're doing dock work like this. Pull that mainsail sheet in. That's a tongue twister. And she's turning nicely. I'm not entirely sure where northwest is from here, but I am going to straighten up the helm. We don't want to smash into any more vessels. Straighten up the helm like so, and it looks like we're heading just south of northwest if we head straight in this direction. So I think this is a good setting to get our sails nice and perfect for a beam reach. Get our mainsail out. Like so. And open up the sheet. Or release the sheet is probably the correct term. And now we should be heading forward. I think there might be too much wind going into our main, so we'll get the staysail out as well and just do a repeat of what we've done with the jib. Yep, definitely a wee turn to port there. As I say, whenever the wind is behind me, I struggle a wee bit for balancing. So let's see if we can work her out a wee touch, get her heading northwest and staying northwest, and then we can go and update our map and do all that fun stuff. Right, that's northwest. Are we seeing a slow turn to port at all, folks? Not immediate, or maybe the tiniest amount. So what can I do there? Can I bring the staysail sheet in a bit? And then how's the jib? I quite like the jib, to be honest with you. Let's go back and have a wee peek. Yep, slight drift to port. So we'll correct for that. It might even be worth getting the outer jib out. We'll just let her do her thing. We are a bit close to land to let her do her thing. No, we're fine. Let's go and update this map now. Get that out of the way. So, I've kind of lost track of days. I believe red was June the 11th. So that was here. Or is it changed day there? So did we not have much of June the 11th because of all the nonsense I was doing in Barbados, potentially? Or was this June the 11th and became June the 12th? I might need to go back and have a look at this, folks. But I don't think it changed day. It's certainly not changed day whilst we've been in San Juan, put it that way. So we're just going to add these wee bits now. We came round like so. And I'm just going to presume that this is 11th to 12th. We are noon, June 12th. And yeah, she's turned pretty dramatically to port, so I'm definitely going to get the outer jib out. Let's just get her back to northwest. Like so. Up and outer jib. Where are you? There we go. Deploying outer jib. And then we'll let the sheet out. Over here on the windward side. And I'm hoping that's going to balance us. I think now that we've got them all out, we can let out the jibs on the opposite side as well, on leeward. And see if that helps. Back to northwest. Oh, we are absolutely shattered. So I think we're going to have to sleep off quite a lot, but we know what happened last time. So I'm just going to slowly turn her to port. Head back in. Eat, drink. Pump out any water we've brought in. Back in. Close the cabin doors. And danger nap number 2. It's looking okay. Was that a change of wind direction? It was indeed. So that might be a bother for us. But we'll just see. We've committed now. We're asleep. It's not like we've got an alarm in the 16th, 18th, 16th, 17th, 18th century. Maybe a change in wind direction would wake you up the way. We have lost land behind us. Actually, I'm not going to be an idiot this time. We're going to check intermittently. So 69 degrees and 26. So here, and 21.58. Roughly about here. Yeah, I'm okay with that actually. Yep, that's grand. We'll go and pump out our bilge. We've brought nothing in, apparently. Oh, we are going north though. So she was okay until the wind direction changed, I think, which has then caused us to drift north. So I'm going to oversteer to port and see what I can do. Right, I think it's time now to bring the outer jib back in, because the wind is no longer behind us. We're going to bring the sheets in. Just a touch. Something like that. And then we're going to bring the main sheet in as well. Not too much. And I think we just let her do her thing like that. Even if we go, I would rather end up further south than further north of Charleston, because nobody likes to go back on themselves. But let's just sleep off the rest of our tiredness and see where we end up. Maybe a slight change in wind direction again, which is back to where we started. That was lovely, watching the sunset go down. Missed the opportunity for a thumbnail there. But we have the Northern Lights in the Caribbean. Oh, I'm getting nervous. Right, we've woken up. We're rich in candles, so let's get our lights on. See if we've brought on any water. We have indeed this time. We're still heading generally in the direction I want to be heading in. So let's go and make a point. West 73, 24 and 23.48. Okay, right, nice. Very happy with that. Oh, it says June 13th now actually. So I want to change that for red. And then do this. And very nice. Off camera, I'll go through all of this and add like day 1, day 2, day 3. But we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're now on day 7. So from London to Charleston, with a few stop-offs along the way in 7 days. Quite happy with that. I don't know how realistic that is though. Not very, I would suspect. Going to go back out and let the sheets out again. And let's get out the old chip log. Oh, that's a good start. I do like to see the numbers whiz by like that. What are we thinking? I'm going to say 6. Oh. Alright, don't listen to me. 8.67. Very nice. And with that, we just pump out, check our direction. We have turned to port again. See, I think it's as soon as I open up the main. And now I would usually go and reef the main at this point, but someone, I can't remember who, someone shouted at me. Someone says, don't be doing that. Just like change the angle of sail. But the angle of sail is already pretty, it's pretty obtuse. So I'm not entirely sure what to do. Please let me know. Shipwreck Sean struggles with downwind sailing. Right, I can't really see the northwest because of the lantern, but as long as the southeast part is along from our central spoke here, then we're doing all right. What's that? It looks like we can see a little bit of the Bahamas. So let's just time warp ourselves. See, look, she is completely turning to port. Right, so why would that be? Is it time for... Oh, it's because I never had the outer jib out. Already worked this out. Deploy. Shipwreck Sean was shipwreck wrong again. Right. Is that going to help us? I think with the outer jib I can probably... Let me see, am I seeing... Let's just centralise that little southeast we're seeing. So we're back to northwest. I think with the outer jib I can probably let out the main sheet. But I'm just going to whiz by the time for now and see if she's turning. She actually seems pretty good now. So we're learning. We are getting somewhere. Quick pump of the bilge. And then I'll go and plot again. What's our direction? Actually drifted slightly to starboard this time. So I'm definitely going to let out the main sheet. I'm going to take a plot and then I will recenter our direction. So we are red now. West 75 and 23. And 25 and 24. So roughly there. So we're passing... What even is that? Eleuthera. A place I've never heard of. I've heard of Nassau. And Grand Bahamas. That's just the largest island of the Bahamas. That's just complete guesswork there. But Eleuthera, never heard of in my life. Anyway, we're wasting precious candles now. The Northern Lights should be enough for us. And in actual fact, I think drifting slightly starboard of northwest isn't going to be a problem now. Because if I do my little trick, where I drop this and then go and get a black line from Charleston. Yeah, that's actually north-northwest to Charleston now. But as I say, even going slightly south of our intended direction isn't going to be a problem because we are going to be hitting land soon. The southern states of the United States. I presume this is this the Eleuthera? And then we've got Grand Bahamas up there and stuff. Can we see? I'm not seeing any immediate... Oh, look, there's a port. So there's some buildings on the opposite end of this island. So that must be Eleuthera. I think I've said that in a completely different way every time I've pronounced it. I only need to be right once. And we're actually very thirsty. And a wee bit peckish as well. Right, so going to close the doors, get cozy in here. And we're going to time warp. And I'm just going to recenter our view on the ship. and just watch where she turns. It does look like the slightest of turns to starboard, but I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually okay with letting her do her thing from here. In fact, no, she looks fine. I almost don't trust it when she's balanced like this. But I'm quite keen. Quite happy. Probably not the fastest. Look at that with the lovely night sky behind us. Can you tell I'm choring for a thumbnail right now? The wind, still very much the same. We've lost sight of the Bahamas, which is making me a little bit scared. But I think I've left it long enough without pumping. There's a couple of times where I have just been time warping and you do get red text that pops up on the screen saying too much water. And listen to this. That was just constant pumping. We're probably a bit closer to north than I'd like to be. So I'm just going to correct that. And going back to doing what I do best, which is sleeping. I don't feel the need to make any plots on our chart just yet. Just keeping an eye on the wind direction. Was also keeping an eye on the horizon. Oh, there we go. Speaking of, we have land. So now is very much time to start plotting. Let's work out where on Earth, quite literally, we are. So another red cross. We are 79 and 45. And then we are 32.15. Oh, we've done this pretty well. So we're roughly about here. So Charleston should be like dead north of us. Assuming we can see, because it is quite choppy out there. We're not going to be able to see beyond the mainsail. There we go. That looks like Charleston to me, folks. Okay, Charleston ho. Let's get the pumps going. And let's turn ourselves round. Now, what state is Charleston in? Is it Georgia? I think I guessed in a previous episode and said I would look it up. And of course I haven't. Wind is still great for heading directly towards Charleston. I'm happy with that. Right, I'm too nosy. Let's head over to Google Maps because I'd like to find out what state we're going to be setting foot in as we finally reach the United States. The first time I've ever done this in this game, so I'm quite excited. Okay folks, so here we have Charleston here in South Carolina. Georgia is just the state south of South Carolina, so considering I'm but a lowly Brit, I think I'm close enough there. Or is that quite a bad thing to say? Is that like getting Scotland and England mixed up? I'm not sure. But okay, we will be going to New York afterwards. Well, we know what state New York is in. That'll be New York. Then after that, we're heading up to Quebec, which is certainly not in America anymore. That's Canada. Although I still need to work out what date this game is based in. Because it might even still be... This could be the 13 colonies, for all I know. But yes, incorrect with Georgia. I'm just going to start owning how wrong I am all the time. It's part of the experience here, folks. Let's get that topsail out just for some fun. Don't know what to name this episode now, because I usually name it after the port I end up at. Puerto Rico and South Carolina? Or did I just go San Juan and Charleston? Maybe I'll just call it Caribbean. Yeah, I think Caribbean's a good one. And then the next one could be North America. That keeps it simple. So there we go. Spoiler, folks. You know what the next episode's going to be. All right, let's just time warp because I'm lazy. Right, and now that we're kind of close, we can start bringing in any extra sails that we don't need. So let's stow our top sail. And let's stow our outer jib. 2 berths in 1 episode, folks. Yous are lucky. That actually looks like there's a nice little pier we can berth to. So we just need to basically start turning. Yep, wonderful. Charleston, you're kind to me. And we'll have a decent bit of money. We've only got 77 gold at the moment, but this should take us to, I think it was 2,000, which is 10% of our schooner purchase, if indeed we go for the schooner. Oh, we can actually go completely. Yeah, that looks good to me. Straighten her up. And then we just let her tick over. We're going quite slow, but that's all right. June 13th, I think we can quite safely chuck a little cross onto Charleston. And we'll just fill in our wee lines whilst we're at it. So, day 7, made it to North America. South North America. Into South Carolina. Georgia's over there somewhere. And now it's just a nice potter along. I thought our 2 jibs were wing to wing. I think we can get rid of the staysail actually. And I'm actually going to get rid of the main. And I think I'll just sail us in with the jib and perhaps even a topsail. Just for cool points. Or idiot points. I'll let you be the judge. Right, and now we are helmsmen. I never checked to see if there was bollards. Yeah, it looks like there's bollards to tie off to. Tie off our mooring lines. Oh, we have clipped into the cabin again. Right, I'm going to go and bring in the jib after locking the helm. And the topsail. And I need to remember where the mooring lines are. Topsail stowed. Mooring line. Do we go for the aft mooring line? Can we reach? Oh no. Surely we're close enough. I really thought we were close enough to make that look wonderful, perfect and intended. Lock that. Let's get a little bit of topsail back out. I'm not going to get defeated. Hard to port. Take a wee while for this to do anything, considering... Oh, I've barely let out any topsail, so... a wee while meaning an eternity. Okay. Should get us a nice turn. Centralise the helm. Right, topsail in again. And we should be close enough for our bow line. You would hope. Come on, girl, you can do it. Maybe the stern line. Oh, we're too far from the bollard for the stern line now. Usually there's like a attached rope that pops up, but I think I might be too... You would think from here you would be able to do it. So I guess it's just cheating, drop anchor at position. Here we go. We'll just try and jump. Oh, that jump didn't happen. Let's head up the ladder. Did I leave any sails out this time? No, I did not. There we go. Charleston Harbour. But let's go and complete the mission. And before I take anything, I'm not going to look at the contracts or anything. I'm just going to complete this mission and we'll look at contracts in the start of the next episode. But we've got Harry, Jason. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is enough to put me in a good mood, so it is. We're rich. Actually, whilst we're here, where's Tortuga again? That's back the way. Nassau, Timor's miles away. Ternate, I don't know where that is. Is that Ternate there? No. Where the hell is Ternate? Ah, okay, is that Indonesia? We won't be going there for quite some time. There is another mission here to New York that's worth 252. We've got plenty of cargo space. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but we're just going to take it. And what have you got for sale? Cloth. Okay, Ed. I've got another mission for you. Well, it looks like we could actually still buy tobacco and make a profit off of it. But Ed, if you're watching, is it worth getting some cloth here and selling it somewhere nearby? Do let me know, because I'm just going to stay here next to Jason Statham until then. But until then, I will say thank you very kindly for joining me, folks. I think it's going to be a long one this time, but, you know, longer the better, feature length. But yeah, thanks again for joining me. I've been Shipwreck Sean, and cheerio.